Ek gaan daai ene weer terugkry. Okay. Right, you guys, we have to mark number 2.1 and 2.2. So at 2.1, they said, in die grafiek hieronder is fx gelyk aan b tot die mag x. Beantwoord die vrae vir elkeen van die volgende grafieke. Okay, so fx equal to b to the power of x. At A, they ask me, determine the equation of f and g if f and g are reflections in either the x or the y-axis. That you've got to decide by looking at the picture. Nee? Okay, goed. So kom ons gaan stel gou in. As jy gaan kyk by 2.1, ja? Ja. If we look at 2.1, there was two coordinates. The one was A and 25. So it's not going to help substituting that one in. Nee. So I'm going to have to substitute in the point where x is minus 3 and y is 1 over 125. Nee. So A is 1 op 125. En hy gryshouertjie hierso by Newton. B tot die mag minus 3. Okay, right. So 1 over 125 is the same as 5 to the power of minus 3. And now you can see exponents are the same, so therefore I can say that B will be 5. Is julle fine with it? Okay, so therefore, let's just write it in the correct form. Fx is equal to 5 to the power of x. Okay, now, gx. Sê hulle, I must decide, is it reflection in the x or reflection in the y? Now, as jy nou gaan kyk na daai prentjie, hy flip so oor. Nee, so it is reflecting in the y-axis. Do you guys agree? You fine? Ek gaan nou vir jou skryf, reflect. It's reflecting in the y-axis, meaning the y values will stay the same, but the x values will change. No. Okay, so gx will then be y is equal to 5 to the power of minus x. No. But we don't want to leave it like that, so we're rather going to say, instead of y, I can say gx is equal to, and that 5 to the power of minus 1 is the same as a fifth to the power of x. Do you guys understand that part? Okay, right, let's look at B. By B sê hulle vir my, gee die definisieversameling en die waardeversameling van f en g. Okay, so the domain of f. Oopsie, sorry. Domain of f, jy sal sien dat hy raak nader en nader en nader aan die x-as, but I still have all those x values. So x is an element of real numbers. Now, okay, the domain of G is the same thing. X is an element of real numbers. Now, goed, the range, die waardeversameling van f. Okay, so you guys would have seen that it goes closer towards the x-axis, but it's never going to touch. And it can also not cut through that x-axis, want my x-axis is mos soos my asymptoot, nee. So meaning, the y values can only be from the x-axis upwards, nee. So I must say, y will be greater than 0. Please not equal to, nee, because it can't touch. Okay. The range of G, same thing. Y is greater than 0. Okay. Goed, kan ek skip? Hands up, who's still copying? Okay. Ek lees net gou so lank C. By C vra hulle vir my bepaal die waarde van A. Okay, now we've already got our equation of this graph. I now just have to substitute in that coordinate. Kan ek maar skip, Nicole? Ja. Okay, right. So by C, ons vergelyking was fx is gelyk aan, but I'm going to say y is equal to 5 to the power of x. Okay, so now I'm going to substitute in this point where a is the x value and then the y value is 25. So 25 is gelyk aan 5 tot die mag A. Okay, now 25 is the same as 5 to the power of 2. Nee. So you can see bases are the same. So therefore my exponent A will be equal to 2. Okay. Any questions? Right. Kom ons kyk gou na die volgende enetjie, 2.2. 2.2, selfde storie. Hulle sê vir my fx is gelyk aan b tot die mag x. At A, they want me to get the equation of f and g. Okay, f is our blauw enetjie. Again, I've got two coordinates, but the one has an a, so I've got to use this one, where x is 2 and y is 4. Okay, so 4 is gelyk aan b tot die mag 2. And 4 is actually 2 to the power 2. And now you can see exponents are the same, so therefore bases will also be the same. Nee. Okay, nou kom ons skryf hom net ordentlik. So fx will therefore be 2 to the power of x. Okay, nou moet ek gou vir gx gaan kry. Nou gx, in plaas van gx gaan ek eers skryf y. Gx is the reflection of f, but in the x-axis, because it flips like that. Nee, so omdat hy reflect in die x-as, it means my x values are going to stay the same, but the y values are going to change. Nee? So ek wil net gou daar vir jou skryf. Refleksie in die x-as. Wat beteken my y-waarde gaan nou, en dis kom ek nou vir gx uitgeveed, gaan raak minus y. Is julle by daarso? Nee? Okay, so now I just gotta go and y will then be minus 2 to the power of x. So gx will be minus 2 to the power of x. Is julle reg daar? Okay, dan by B. Yes.
Minus 2x and then equal bracket or
Nee. When the exponent is a negative one, yeah. Because in the previous one, at 2.1, was it a 3, no? 5. Okay, we had 5 to the power of minus x, no? Now that is the same as 5 to the power of minus 1 times x, because when I've got a power to the power, I'm going to multiply those two, no? And the 5 to the power of minus 1 gave me the 1 over 5. Okay, but over here, the minus is in front. It's got nothing to do with the exponent. So it's just a normal negative 2. Okay, the rest of you, also fine? Okay, right. Dan vra hulle vir my by B, die definisieversameling en die waardeversameling. Can I skip here? Oops. Okay, so at B, the domain of F. Okay, weer selfe story, X is an element of real numbers, because it can be any of those. The domain of G, also X is an element of real numbers. Nee, okay, now, the range of F. Okay, F is hy blauw ene, en hy is van die X-as af hoortoe. Nee, kyk hierdie lekker leer. Okay, so y must be greater than 0. Nee, because it goes upwards. Right, then the range of G, omdat hy mos reflecteer in die x-as, gaan dit van die x-as onder toe. So it means that y must be less than 0. Make sense? Okay. By C, het hulle mos my gevra, go get the value of A. Okay, nou ons het oorspronklik gehad, our equation was y is equal to 2 to the power of x. Now we're going to substitute in that point where x is minus 4 and the y value is A. Okay, so dan gaan ek hê, A is gelyk aan 2 tot die mag minus 4. Nee, okay, and 2 to the power of minus 4 is 1 over 60. Wat het jy gesê? Maar 16 tot die mag minus 1. Jy kon dit geskryf het, 16 tot die mag minus 1, maar jy kon nie gesê het dit nie. Nee, want daai is dieselfde as dit. And that's a whole different story. Nee. Okay, laat ek hoor. Any questions? You guys good? Okay, now, we've got to start with logs. Nee? Nou wil ek net gou hoor, julle het in graad 11 nog niks met logs te doen gehad nie, nee? Okay, good. Right, nou. En dan ja, met daai taak julle aan die begin. Okay, so in a nutshell, people, you've done inverse, nee? Okay, nou, ek gaan nou praat oor hoe ons logs mee werk. Nee, you've seen the log button on your calculator, nee? Maar daar's so 'n paar reëls wat ons moet weet van hom. But just so you know, we've done exponential graph just now, nee? Now the inverse of an exponential graph will be the log graph. Okay, so basically if I take my exponential and I switch the x and the y values, nee, dan gaan hy raak 'n log graph. Now, usually when we switch those, dan het julle gesien, dan is dit mos x is gelyk aan iets. Nee. And then we had to do a few alterations so that it would be in the form of y is equal to something. En daai is die moeilike deeltjie. So dit gaan ons gou nou uitsorteer. So kyk gou hier, nee? Die manier hoe hulle hom in die handboek verduidelik, is nie vir my baie lekker nie. So I'm gonna say it in plain Afrikaans, nee? Okay, so kyk gou hier. When they give you, laat ek net hier skryf julle logs. Okay, so log, en nou gaan ek gou daar a x is gelyk aan a. Okay. Now this is in log form. Now they might ask you, en ek dink in die huiswerk sê hulle ook vir jou, skryf hierdie logs in exponentiële vorm. They want you to write this log form as exponential form. Nee. Okay. Now, we don't always have a number there. But I'll talk about that because those are rules that you've got to know. When there's nothing, you must know it's, for instance, a 10. Nee? Maar ek gaan vir julle net maar daarby kom. Okay, so how do we write this in exponential form? The way that I remember it, nee, is the one that's written right after log, not this one at the bottom. Hierdie enetjie gaan altyd staan alleen. That one will end up being alone. Nee? So meaning it's going to be x is equal to. Nee? Then that one, can you see, dis nie 'n heel getal nie, hy's onder hom. Nee. So I remember it as this one pushes up. Nee? Wag gou. En hierdie enetjie is ook mos that's a normal y, so it's like a whole number. Nee. And that one will also push up. So if this a pushes up from down there, it becomes a whole number. And if that y, which was a whole number, pushes up, it becomes a exponent. So tot die mag y. Okay, that is it. I just wrote my log form as exponential form. So is eintlik maklik as jy net mooi onthou, the one that was written after log will be alone, and the other two just push up to another level. Nee. Okay, kom ons kyk gou nog enetjie. Log 2. Okay, so let's see. That one must be alone. No, so I'm going to have 16 is equal to. Then the 2 pushes up and becomes a whole number. Whoops, oops. becomes a whole number. And the 4 pushes up and becomes a exponent. Do you guys understand? Nee, is dit maklik genoeg? Okay, kan ons gou enetjie probeer self doen? Nee. Hier is dit. En dan moet ons net die reverse daarvan kan doen. Hulle gee hom eksponensieel en jy moet hom skryf in laag. Maar ons gaan dit nou oefen. Dis dit. Nee, dit is eintlik baie maklik. Okay. Right, can I skip? Gaan ons gou self probeer. Nee. Okay, skryf vir my log x 81 is gelyk aan 2.
For instance, if you could divide it was like 2x, for example, do you put it smaller or do you just leave it like that?
If you have 2x, like over here, yeah, we are going to get to ones just now. You won't have like a 2x there.
So you can, for example, you can simplify it.
Ja. Ons gaan nou, as jy hierdie enetjie geskryf het, dan gaan ek vir jou sê, okay, los op vir x. Okay. Right. Ja, maar sê gou eers my, hoe lyk hy in eksponensiële vorm? Who wants to say? Yes. 81 is equal to x to the power of 2. No. Okay, now people, I'm going to ask you, solve x. Net 9. Plus or minus 9. No. Okay, so over here, x squared is equal to 81. When I ask you to solve x, you would say square root of that 81, meaning x will then be positive or negative 9. Nee, maar, and we'll get to that just now. When we do log graphs, that x value, nee, must be greater than 0. Okay? So skryf daar vir jou. I'll get to that just now when we do the graph. Maar x moet groter wees as 0. So therefore, I can only say x is equal to positive 9. Okay. But we'll get to the graph part just now. I just didn't want to stop there and then you have something wrong in your book. Okay. All right. Kan ons gou nog enetjie probeer skryf? And then, so you write it in exponential form and solve x. Please. Okay. So, okay, go. Solve x. You guys done? Okay. Say your exponential form. Isona? Okay, what was your first step? Write it in exponential form. Five to the power of minus 2, which means that x will be 1 over 25. No. Okay, now to answer Morgan's question from just now, he said, what if there's lots of other stuff included? Want julle weet mos nou al, né? Okay, then, if I give you this, log 2, and then x squared plus 2x. Dis waarvan jy vra, nee. Sê maar. Ask for me. Okay, now kyk gou. Please remember that once I put brackets around that is one thing. No? So it stays together. Alright. Wie was dit nou ek? Wat? Maar iemand spesiaal is lief vir my vanoggend. Oh. F. Standaardsafspraak. Ja. Onthou julle moet solve x, né? Kan ek maar skip doen? Dis ek bietjie te vinnig, kan? Maar ek kan hulle doen. Dis al wat belangrik is. Jy hoef nie van hulle te hou nie, solank jy hulle kan doen. You did it. Okay. Right, so this bracket is going to stay alone, né? So jy gaan hê x kwadraat plus 2x is equal to. Then the 2 pushes up, so 2. The 3 pushes up, so it becomes to the power of 3. Nee. Okay, dan het ek x kwadraat plus 2x. Now the right hand side, 2 divided by 3 is actually 8. Nee. Maar nou jy kan al klaar sien, hy gaan 'n 3 term vorm. So let's take the 8 over. So minus 8 equal to 0. Hoekom vat ek dit oor? We have to take it over and make it equal to 0 so I can solve x. Nee. Okay, so nou gaan kry ek gou my 3 term. So x plus 4 times x minus 2 equal to 0. Now, if I solve each one of these brackets, it means that in the first one, x will be minus 4. And in the second one, x will be 2. But, wat het ons nou gesê? X value cannot be negative. So this one is 8. That one is out, né? Can't use that one. Okay, so I only want x is equal to 2. Okay, is julle reg? Right, now what if I give it to you the other way around? Ek wil gou kyk of ek die huiswerk vir hom oplos. Okay, so now, remember you've got to do the opposite, right? If I were to give you, okay, 5 to the power of x is equal to 100. And this is an exponential form. Ek wil nou hê, jy moet hom vir my gaan skryf in log vorm, nee. Okay, now the one that was next to log, hy was mos altyd alleen, nee. So wat een gaan hierdie wees? Die 100. So dadelik weet ek, okay, log 100. Want hierdie enetjie was mos alleen. So nou gaan skryf ek hom langs log. Nee, it was alone, so now I write it next to log. Okay, now these two both have to push down. Nee, okay, so if that 5 pushes down, it's going to be here. And if the x, which was an exponent, pushes down, it's going to look like that. So we do the opposite now, né? Hoe lyk dit? Moet ons nog enetjie doen of wil jy self probeer? Okay. That's it. Yeah. Now what they'll do is, kom ons doen, ons maak hom sommer gou heeltemal klaar, né? So what they'll ask you, laat ek hom so maak, at number 1 is write in exponential form and solve x, né? Dan sê hulle vir jou, give your answer to, kom ons kyk gou, 2 decimal places. So haal gou vir my jou sakrekenaar uit. Take out your calculator, please. Okay. Huh? Who's good? Invigilation. No. Okay, right. Have you all got your calculators up? Okay, so there's 2 buttons for log. Mine is on the right hand side, top. Nee? You'll see the one is just log, and then there's a bracket. So sien jy daar's nie daai onderste klein getalletjie nie. Nee. But now in this case, because we've got that, I want that small one. So, kyk gou net regs bo hom is 'n log knoppie, oepsie, waar hy vir jou 'n blokkie vir onder gee, and then a block for the normal number. Do you guys see that? Okay, so now go fill in that small 5 at the bottom, and then the 100 inside the bracket. En hoeveel gee hy dan vir jou? 2,8613531116. Nee. Okay, so I'm asking you to round it off to 2 decimals. So dan beteken dit dat x gaan wees 2,86. You guys good? Okay, kom ons probeer gou self. We follow the same steps. Step 1, write in log form. Step 2, solve x. Maar ek soek hom tot 2 decimaal afgerond, né? Okay, right, so let's say, wag, dit het ek nou nog nie met julle, 25 is equal to, ek vat nou maar kans, kyk of jy kan. Okay, so kom ek sê net gou daarso. Before I can go further, nee? Eintlik, wag. Ek wil nou te vinnig vir julle gooi en dan is dit 'n bokrom. Kom ons vat 'n ander enetjie. 2 to the power of 5 is equal to 32. Kom ons hou hom net gou eers klein vir die begin. Ja.
Sou die vorige een se antwoord is op blok 15, 25.
Nee, we nog 'n ekstra stapie, maar ek gaan nou daarby kom. Okay, sê gou, hoe gaan hy lyk? Okay, right, laat ek hoor, wie wil sê? Okay, so the 32 was alone, so that will be the one in front of, or after log, sorry, log 32, okay? The 2 pushes down, so it must be down here, en die 5 as 'n eksponent, as hy afdruk, dan is dit gelyk aan gewone 5. Nee? Okay, so are you guys good with these? Nee? Yeah, to write it in exponential form or write it in log form. Okay, now let's look at the laws, want na dit kan ek vir jou 'n moeiliker enetjie gee. Okay, so log laws. Huh?
See, that's why she's here.
Ja, die logvektor. Ja. Sê weer? Hoekom wil jy nou weggaan? Okay, so number 1. When I give you the following. Okay, vergeet nou net gou eers vir daai C daaronder. Nee? Because so far, I've only given you one number. Behalwe toe ek nou daai volgende enetjie vir jou gooi en toe sit ons nou nie reg nie. Nee? Okay. So when you have this, think of, remember log is the opposite of exponents. Nee? AB is A times B. Nee. En dink gou teenoorgestelde, nee? Exponente. This will be the same as log A plus log B. Dink gou aan daai exponentiële wet. When base is the same and we are multiplying, what do we do with exponents? We add them. Does it make sense? When we multiply, then we go and add. Nee. Hallo. Ja, maar ek het nog iets gedoen. Wil jy dit uitdeel? Jy kan? Ekskuus. Okay, maak dit sin? Nee? So it's not that hard to remember. It's just almost like exponential rules. Okay, right. So hou nou daai gou in gedagte. Nommer 2. So if you want, you can say when multiply, we break them up and add. Jy kan dit skryf net as jy wil, nee? That's just how I remember it. Okay. The second one is A divided by B. Nou kan jy eintlik al klaar raai. What do you guys guess? When we divide, we minus. Kyk hoe slim is julle. So log A minus log B. Nee. Okay. So here, when we divide, we conquer. Break up and subtract. Hallo. Oeh, wag, het ek net gou. Ja, sê goeiemôre. Ek het vanoggend hom gevat en begin op hom, vra vir hulle, ek het tot vir hulle ook gevra om my te help. Want hierdie man gooi dit nou op my allerhande snaakse goed. Ek het alles mooi oorgegooi. Kyk gou hier. Hoe kry ek dit? Een van hulle, die IT man het my probeer help. My keyboard wil glad nie. Hoe stel ek dit? That's number 1. En dan sodra ek hom omflip om te skryf, dan zoep, gaat ek my swart. Hi. Precies, dis op die recording. Gelukkig kan ons allemaal stemme herken ook. So het help jy sê 6 maniere nie.
Kan ek van met my vas?
Ja, hoorie. Kan ek jou vra om net te loer, nee? Kyk gou hier. Daar werk hy nou, nee? En dan die oomblik as ek dit doen, dan vrek hy. Dan wil hy nie meer. Ja.
Kan ek net so charger ooit kry?
Yes?
Nee, dat is fijn.
Skus, maar ek het hom nou ook mooi als oorgegooi en toe vanoggend het nou op hom wil begin skryf.
Ek het gister die keyboard gewerk en alles.
Nee, ek het nog heeltyd met hom gewerk en als net oorgegooi. Ja. So ek het nooit op hom fisies geskryf, ek nou vanoggend dit wil begin doen toe. Ja. Okay, right. So everyone fine with those first 2 laws? Okay, number 3. When I have log A, maar nou kyk gou hier, to the power of P. Nee? Now, we're not used to having an exponent in logs, nee? So jy wil net gou-gou vir hom daar wegkry. Let's get rid of that exponent. So all we do is we take that and we throw it in front. So that will be the same as P times log A. Is julle fine? Any questions? Okay. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Sien julle hierso is heeltyd so ou boggertjie wat hier onder hang. Nee. Wat op aarde maak ons met daai man? Kyk gou-gou weer. If I give you ja, wag, ons kom nog daar. Okay, as ek vir jou dit gee. Nee, onthou julle, ek het nou, dis nie die regte taal nie, maar ek praat van levels, nee? It's the one right at the bottom, and then a whole number, and then the exponent, nee? My different levels. Okay, so this will be the same as, en ek gaan hom nou vir jou mooi skryf, log A, my top level, over my bottom level. Okay, so met ander woorde, hy gaan so lyk. Log A over log B. Jy sal sien ek skryf weer daai klein C daarso, nee? Want ek moet sy plekkie hou. Ons gaan nou praat oor as daar niks staan nie, because you are going to get stuff where it's nothing is written there, nee? Then it's actually a 10. But because it's 10, we don't have to write it, nee? So, kom ek gee net gou vir jou nog so 'n voorbeeld. So, I would give you log 4, 8. Sien jy, nou gaan ek gaan sê, that's the same as log 8 over log 4. Is julle reg? You guys good? Okay, nou kan ek net gou so 'n stukkie verder gaan, because they might, en ek kan self jou sonder 'n sakrekenaar afgaan. Ja. Sometimes they do tell us to show it without using a calculator. So kom ek wys net gou-gou vir jou, né? That log 8 over log 4. Jy skryf nou net onder hom. I don't have space, so I'm carrying on the side, né? Okay. 8 is the same as 2 to the power of 3, nee? And 4 is the same as 2 to the power of 2. Okay. Nou kyk gou-gou wat het ons hier gedoen. What do we do when we've got an exponent at log? We put it to the front, or move it to the front, nee? Okay, so meaning that will also be the same as, let's take that one to the front, en hierdie ouetjie ook vorentoe. So then it would be 3 log 2 over 2 log 2. En nou kyk gou nou. Log 2 kanselleer hom uit. So this is actually 3 over 2. Oh, julle kan my daar sien. Sorry, hy is afgesny by die bord, but it says 3 over 2, nee? Maak dit sin? Is nie so erg nie, nee? Okay. Are we good? Maar trek ons tyd, dat ek sien. Hoeveel? 5 minutes. Okay, ja, jy kan gaan. Ja, sê maar. Oh, ek dink jy wil my iets sê. Okay, okay, kom ons kyk gou-gou. Special log values, kan ek maar skip? Anyone still copying here? Ek gaan gou praat oor daai 10e. Nou aan. Okay, bye bye, sterkte. Neem vir ons 'n video, ek wil ook sien. Okay, bye. Okay, so, have a look. Special log values. If I give you the following, log A, 1, that will be equal to 0. Want. Let's go write that in exponential form. The 1 will be alone, eh? And A moves up, and that one moves up, so A to the power of 0. And anything to the power of 0 is 1. Nie waar nie? No. Okay, so this is one thing that you must remember. Also, if that small one at the bottom is the same as the number next to log, then it will be 1. Because if I write that in exponential form, it would be A to the power of 1 will be equal to 1. I mean A, sorry. No, makes sense? Okay, so onthou, especially this one they use a lot. Nee, dan gaan jy sien, alles kan lekker uitkanselleer, maar hierdie is 'n vreemde nommertjie. Nee? Like we had just now, the log 2 and log 2 cancelled out. But then all of a sudden they have something like a log 5, 5. No? But then you must know that because those two are the same, I can rather write that as 1. Sien julle by? Okay. Laat ek sien wat mis ek nog. We did talk about that. Okay, now, if we have, this is now the last one and then we're done. If we have something like this, log 8, nee? Wanneer die grondtal 10 is, dan skryf jy dit eintlik nie neer nie. So met ander woorde, wag, kom ons skryf. Kom ons maak hom so, ekskuus. Log 10 x. Log 10x, because that base, omdat daai grondtal 'n 10 is, nee? Hoef jy hom nie te skryf nie. You don't have to write it, so you can rather just say log x. Okay. Nee. Nee, dit gaan oor jou every time we multiply or divide with a 10, your comma moves. Nee? So ek wil nou gou vir jou mooi ek gaan vir jou gaan kyk wat die lang verduideliking is as ek dit skryf en vir julle wys as ek julle weer sien voor pause, nee? But basically in a nutshell you can just if there's a 10, you don't have to write it. Okay. Huh? Nee, maar ek sien julle mos voor tweede pause. Vir julle gewone wiskunde periode. Okay. Right.